All right, good morning, good morning. Yeah, sorry, Carrie, I left out a button there. So we skipped the countdown. Some of you saw it, some of you didn't. Yeah, you don't need a countdown, right? Who needs a countdown anymore these days, other than SpaceX and NASA? Hello, everyone. It's 9:53. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk today. Yeah, we're back on to a Storm Talk setup as we head through the next really several days. It at least will be a discussion. It's not going to storm every day, but we will have several items to cover. And I don't think it's done settling, and I'll explain why. We do have some challenges to the 10-day on the specifics. So I highly caution you guys. I always say this, but I certainly mean it in this pattern. Keep checking back if you have plans. And a lot of you will be making plans. We got Memorial Day weekend next weekend. So make sure that you are checking back in, because I can assure you it will keep adjusting. And some of the adjustments could be not minor. They could be significant, and it makes a big difference on your plan. So I'll get into the nitty gritty on that coming up in just a few moments. As always, you guys can chime in on the social media side: Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and X are your options. And I think we have a decent mix of everyone, I think, in here usually, right? The usual crew is here. You guys are all set to your schedule for this. I feel like you're always right on time, whether it's Crispy to Angela to Carrie, of course, Blue, ZK, Kathy's here. Hello to Brad. I'm trying to see any new names. Hello, Miss Turtle. Always look for the new names. Some of the lurkers. I know there are several of you watching right now that are lurking and not wanting to comment because you're shy. It's okay. You can say hello. I'm a lurker too, on especially Twitch when I watch streams and stuff. So I totally understand that. That's the introvert in me. Sean, are you tagging Cameron to make sure he's paying attention? I'm sure he'll be here in a second. Who never comments? Teresa never comments. Who's Teresa? Which one's Teresa? No, I don't mean call out anybody. I don't want you to do that. Molly. Hi, Molly. See, Molly's watching. Hello, Molly. All right. Well, welcome aboard. Even if you're lurking or not, again, I'm just teasing. You don't have to say anything. But I want you guys to hopefully ask questions if you do have something that's on your mind as we evolve through the next several days. Fair enough. On the discussion here. What a beautiful setup today. Chilly. Did you notice that last night? That wind kicked up. Ooh, that was a cold wind. I mean, it's almost the point of borderline getting a winter coat out kind of feeling. And it was chilly. It was a chilly night and early morning for the area. And today, I mean, it's not going to be a warm day, but it will be a pleasant one. I mean, we're not going to get to 70 in many spots. Louisville probably will, but a lot of you won't. And that is a little unusual, certainly for this portion of May. So that will get your attention for today. But if you love this kind of weather, and a lot of you do, it's good. Almost a combination of maybe long sleeves or even a hoodie in some cases, the hoodie shorts flip-flops combo that we see so often this time of the year and in fall, a little more common. So enjoy today. It is really, really nice. Really, really nice. Who's getting married? Somebody's getting married. Liv is getting married on Saturday. What are the odds it's going to storm at 4 p.m.? Well, it's supposed to be good luck, right? If it rains, or is it bad luck? Well, Liv, I'll cover that. I wish I could give you a more specific answer, maybe tomorrow. But there's some questions on that I'll hopefully explain. As I do explain coming up in a minute, Liv, let me know too. You have to tell me the exact location, obviously, you're getting married at, but the general area, if it's in town or out of Louisville, whatever's the case may be, because that will matter to you on what I'm about to say. Okay. So let's dive into it. We got the beautiful setup today. Before we get into longer term, today is Thursday, which means the drought update came out today. And some notable changes. First off, Indiana did not go back into drought status. I had a feeling they probably would have. So that was a little surprising. But And given the outlook for the weekend, you may be able to stay out of it. If you didn't get into the outlook this week, then I think you'll be fine for a little bit longer. But Central and Southern Kentucky, unfortunately, even looking at the longer term pattern here, you're going to be a little tougher to get on some decent rain to get out of this deficit. You're now into extreme drought. Let's try to stay out of exceptional. We don't want to get in that category. But what a dividing line. Louisville's kind of right on the edge of this, right? I-64. So how the stormy weather and the pattern, how that evolves into especially next week is going to be key on whether or not we see any decent improvement to this. But I will be honest, just in the last 12 hours alone, I've noticed a downward trend on getting decent rain totals in the area versus an upward trend. So I still see some rain, but I don't think, again, it's going to be the way it looks now. I don't think it's going to be enough. All right, we'll look at the national drought set up here in just a second. Beautiful, as I mentioned, you got a few clouds. You probably saw them on the SkyTrack camera looking from New Albany east. They're on the horizon. That's these right here. That's how far away our camera can see. It's pretty wild, right? But we got a few of those located into eastern Kentucky, kind of graze in there on the backlash into our eastern counties. We may get a few cumulus again near and east of 65 today, fair weather cumulus, but otherwise very, very quiet across at least our neck of the woods. The low pressure moved on by with the front attached yesterday. Again, didn't give us much rain. That's all right. Again, gave us the cool weather. Pretty easy to see that cool pocket of air that has settled into the Ohio Valley. But you can also see the return flow rapidly increasing back into the plains, gearing up again for another round of warmth, and eventually the heat will build in. But this is a very slow moving weather pattern. So the good news is you don't see a lot of dramatic change from day in, day out. That's the reason why you're not going to get a lot of talk on severe weather outbreaks in our region, because there's not a lot of change happening day by day. It's very, very subtle in a sense. But it's one of those setups that whatever weather you're basically stuck in, you may be stuck in for a while. I feel for the folks in the plains because they are likely going to get stuck in severe weather and maybe stuck in it for a while, the way it's looking. So we'll be on the edge of that. All right, here's that national drought map that shows across the country. And sorry, the comments may be covering some of Florida there. But once again, Florida still, I mean, they did get some rain after this sampling, but I don't think it was enough to change their status. But they are, not in good shape, right? Into the Big Bend area of Florida, into the Carolinas, they need it bad. All the way down to the Everglades, not good. And with El Nino being a pretty big factor on the hurricane season for the Atlantic, typically, reducing the number of storms, it's not looking good to change this. Now, having said that, I mean, you only need one storm, right? I mean, Andrew, right? Hugo, those were very low in the alphabet. And one of the few storms that were big that year, the years that they took place. So it only takes one. But obviously don't want a major hurricane, but hopefully a weak one or weakening one to give them the rain would be nice. But you see the drought all across the South into the Rockies. That's not really, that hasn't really changed because they just missed out on the snow this past winter at a key time period. So they just already started off on the wrong foot to enter the summer season. They haven't even gotten to their fire danger season yet. That's still upon them. So that'll be a big headline, I got to feel, in the summer. Notice where the lack of drought is. That's where all the severe weather has been so far this season, right? In the Midwest, Chicago, Illinois, parts of Indiana, Ohio. We've heard about it over and over. So that's what's kept that area of the country out of the woods. And kind of a hint to working on the summer forecast. And some of this will include the outlook for June on thunderstorm potential. This is one of the key factors that I think will be still an increase in storm potential for June will be in the same area, mainly because of the lack of drought there. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Here's the severe risk today into the plains. This is a separate system that we'll deal with for next week. There's multiple lows kind of coming off the Rockies. This is a relatively small setup on severe, mainly for hail. Now tomorrow has a very odd looking shape. You can almost put some ears on it, a little nose, a little bit of a tail. You got a little puppy or a kitty cat. Anyway, everyone always likes to make some kind of character out of the SPC outlooks. Notice the marginal dips to the southwest into West Kentucky. And while they didn't really discuss this based on the data I've looked at, I think this is mainly for the late night hours of Friday night where a little small complex of storms with a hail potential. These will be elevated storms because they are nocturnal. So that means the bases will be higher. You don't get as much of a tornado threat with anything like that, but you do run into hail in some cases and some gusty winds. I think they'll start there, and they will likely head toward even Louisville Saturday morning. That's a trend that's starting to show. I'll show you the data on that in a second, but I think that's why they took that little dip in the marginal risk to account for that. And then it continues to evolve throughout the day on Saturday, where the boundary, the front itself, is mainly Indiana. But if you're anywhere close to it, you're going to have a chance at some gusty thunderstorms. But I think all areas have a chance of storms on Saturday. It's just that some will see a few more than others. But the Saturday morning storms are key. And Liv, going back to your wedding question, this is where things will play out on how the afternoon will look as well. And I'll explain. So let's get right into it. Here's our in-house model. I mean, they're not all doing great, as you might suspect, because it is a sluggish pattern. So what they do is they take in the data they're getting from real-time observations, weather balloons, what have you, and they have different formulas. Some are AI, some are physics-based, and they spit out different ideas and thoughts of the pattern ahead. But what we call mesoscale features matter here in this scenario. When you don't have large-scale features like a huge jet stream over us or a huge tailpipe, then that makes it easier to predict severe weather. When you don't have that, well, then you're at the mercy of a lot of just what ifs on the day of, little boundaries, outflows, that kind of stuff. And that stuff, it can be just down to the county that makes a difference on how it affects the rest of the region in that same day. So that's where our challenge is going to be. Very summer-like setup, to be honest, for you all. So this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So that's the reason why, again, I stress there will be changes to the outlook, because we are going to be highly dependent on those smaller features that we don't even know where they're going to be exactly, because they haven't obviously developed. We're looking into the future based on data we have at our hands and just seeing how that will play out. The reality, of course, will drive the overall forecast here. So I'll give you where I think the thoughts are on this for now, where the data may be good, may be bad, but just my opinion on some of this too. Again, I believe it or not, I can't see the future entirely. If I got it all right all the time, then not only would I have a guest spot in Back to the Future 2 back in the, was it the 90s or 80s? Back to the Future 2 in the 80s or 90s? I think it was 80s, right? Anyway, sorry, another tangent. Then yeah, I would definitely have a different career, right? Anyway, here we go with the setup today. Nice and quiet, no worries here. Now, our in-house model does well many times on highs, doesn't do so well on lows. It can be really dramatic on the moisture content in the air, so it tends to be really, really dry. So it drops us down in some areas down in the 30s tonight. Don't worry about that. We're not going to get that cold, but it will be a fairly cool night again. It won't be as cool as this morning. But I do think it will be a cool or cooler than normal setup for sure, is what I'm trying to say. Meanwhile, our attention's not on temperature really tonight. Our attention tonight is what's happening in Illinois. This is where we got this complex of storms that kicked up the outlook that is out into the plains today, the little puppy dog or kitty cat that will fire up the storms. They will be racing across Illinois during the overnight hours. As they do so, they'll run into an environment that is not as supportive for them to survive. A lot of dry air is in place, so it will eat, especially the lower layers of the showers fairly quick as they move in. So the bases will begin to raise as they move on through, and the amount of moisture that these storms have in Illinois, fairly deep. And as the storms and showers move toward Louisville in the morning hours tomorrow, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere just shrinks down more and more, and to where there's not enough other than just showers to work with here. So you'll see that as this moves to the south and east, here we go at this will be faster than what the model says, I will tell you that. So it's saying 10, 11 a.m. We're going to get the clouds in here a lot faster than that. Should have a nice sunrise. Typically when you get clouds that fly in like this from the west, you end up with obviously with the sunrise in the east, you get a pretty sunrise. So tomorrow morning should be a nice looking sunrise with a shield of clouds rolling in as you look to the west. That will overtake the area by the time we're on tomorrow here for the blog. And then the showers will then be right in behind it. Now, how much of this survives? Well, that's a good question, because again, the layer is going to be shrinking as it approaches. So I don't know how much will be left, but there's no doubt it will be less and less and less and less and less as you go along. And look what happens at 1:30. There's barely anything that survives, especially east of 65. So if you're west and northwest of Louisville, you can get measurable rain out of this. If you're east, southeast, I doubt you'll get much, if anything. And because of this being a fading complex of showers and storms, it will have a lot of cloud cover with it. That's the last layer that tends to dissolve in these setups from the atmosphere. So the clouds could linger. So that's going to play a bit of a game when it comes to temperature. The longer they linger, the more that will influence our highs tomorrow. There is a chance we could score another day in the 60s because of clouds, not so much just cool air in general. But if the sun can come out even as late as 5 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, we can still get in the mid-70s. Sun angle is pretty high and about to be at its highest point here in the next few weeks. So as that happens, even late day sun, late day warmth. So don't discount that it could be still warm Friday evening. It just all depends on how fast that erodes away. Okay, so that moves out. Now we start to pay attention to southeast Missouri. This is where we get into the Cape that starts to build in. You see that red gold area. That is where we start to see that marginal risk that shows up there for southwest Kentucky and southern Illinois. And several short-term models, by the way, are showing this scenario here where showers and storms try to erupt out of this wave as it ejects east. Now notice there's not a lot of Cape that is over us. We have a lot of cloud cover, but there is still a nice little kick moving along here. These will be elevated showers and storms because the time of the day being early. But watch what happens here. Here we are, 8 a.m., starting to see clouds increase and showers, especially around Evansville. And then as we get into late morning, boom, they pop into the thunderstorms or mid-morning. These could be loud, actually. They could have quite a bit of lightning with them, some hail, mainly pea-size hail, relatively small, and some gusty winds. Not too alarmed on the wind part for right now. This is not a tornado threat. Again, bases are high, but this is one of those setups that could be a little, if you like stormy weather in the morning, and, oh, is there a spammer? Sorry, hold on. Where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? Unfortunately, it won't let me block them. Ooh. That's a tricky spammer. No, won't let me block them. All right, well, don't click on anything they're showing. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sometimes they're, I don't know what system they're even talking on. It's kind of a weird system. Anyway, don't click on anything they're saying. Fair enough. Okay, good. Yeah, if you like stormy mornings, some of you do for sleeping weather, then this is good. This is good. You can have a nice little quiet morning, or at least sleeping weather if you like that rolling thunder in the area. But this is a very important piece. And Liv, I'm not trying to single you out, but I'm going back to your main question about your wedding plans at 4 p.m. If we get this feature in the morning hours, this will really keep us fairly cloudy as we evolve into midday and early afternoon. That's important because look what happened. You don't have much Cape here because of what the morning round did. So that will buy us a few hours after the storms pass where it's quiet. It's just cloudy, a little gloomy out, a little humid, by the way. Humidity will be spiked because of this in the morning hours. So then here comes the problem. If it gets here too early, if it is closer to 7 or 8 a.m., to be honest with you, that is still enough time for this cloud bank to break up, to allow for heating to then surge, which then in turn leads to storms in the afternoon. If the storm timing for Saturday morning is closer to, say, 9 to 11 a.m., okay, well, that actually would buy us a little more time until mid-afternoon on Saturday before we then try to develop some pockets of Cape. And look how quickly we get into the gold. It's because of dew point. It's the reason why, with that front being draped, kind of an arc here across between I-64 and I-70. That's where mainly your severe risk will be, just because that's where any type of wind shear, and it's very weak, any tailpipe is going to be found is going to be here. But it doesn't mean you can't get strong storms without the tailpipe. You can still get strong storms without that wind over your head. It's just very much what we call pulse severe, where they power up, power back down rapidly, very, very brief in nature, not for hours on end. But you can still briefly get to that level if you have enough fuel. And I do think there will be pockets where we could get that. So unfortunately, Liv, the problem we got here is just really figuring out the morning rain on Saturday. So check in tomorrow and see where we're at on the timing of that. If it goes away completely, then unfortunately the afternoon will be fairly active, it looks like, with these clusters of storms. It's not going to rain the entire day. It won't be the entire day. But at times, boy, it's going to be heavy rain, a lot of lightning, some gusty winds, maybe even a severe thunderstorm warning that could get issued. I'm not going to rule that out. But majority of the time, though, you will actually have more dry time than wet time, if that makes sense. So it's not an all-day rain, but when it rains, it will rain hard. So that's what we got to watch for Friday or Saturday afternoon, just the pockets of fuel. Where would that be? I don't know exactly on the placement because the morning is such a key factor. You can see even the graph just tries to blow up some storms. There is a decent cap, by the way, across central and southern Kentucky that develops. So it's a matter of then if can they push through that, because I think what we call a convective temperature, which is about the point the atmosphere would need to get to bust the cap. The convective temp in southern Kentucky is about 90. Well, if you're cloudy, you're not going to get to 90. You may get to like 86, 87, but that's not 90. So if you fall short of that, you may be able to keep the radar tame. Could get a few cumulus that try to form and bubble in the sky, but they may not be able to tower up, especially with those kind of convective temps. But if you heat up enough and get closer to that 90, then there you go. They can tower up quickly. Convective temps are a little bit lower north of Louisville, so it won't take as much warmth for you to get storms to fire. There's definitely a gradient north to south on that idea. But anyway, once that passes by, then we enter the full-on. You can see the flow right there, the last couple frames. Let me rewind it again. Sorry, hold on. Here's the playing out. Here we go as we head into Saturday evening. Watch what happens. Look at the clouds overnight Saturday night. Watch the motion. Everything kind of just lifts north. That is the high building in, the ridge building in, pushing that warm front way north, and a little summer on its way as we head into Sunday. All right, so that leads us into the very divided look that the country will face here for several days. Decent high, Bermuda high builds in, allows for the heat dome to expand all the way to about the Mississippi River. Meanwhile, you'll have your showers and your storms, again, in the plains that get stuck. This is going to be a multi-day severe weather event for many in the plains from Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa, Missouri, and the Dakotas, and Minnesota. A lot of storm chasers will be happy about this because it'll be a multi-day event. Meanwhile, we'll be right on the edge of the heat. So this is a classic setup that we see, a big battle that happens, especially in the summer. Where are we going to be when we get into next week? How long is this going to hold on? How long is it going to fight back any type of front? Hi, Myron. Sorry. How you doing? You want to come say hello to everybody?
I like this background.
You like the background? Yeah. You should have ran back there and said hello and waved.
Oh, that would be a good idea.
That would be a good idea. Everyone say hi to Myra.
Hi, everybody.
This is my kid sister. How are you doing today? Going with the motions?
Going through the motions, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Thursday. How's everybody doing?
They're a bit delayed, as you know.
Okay.
By a few minutes.
I love that you have hundreds of followers. This is wonderful.
They're all weather junkies.
I love it.
Yeah, they're all weather junkies. There they go. Now they're saying
hi.
Yes.
Hi, Kathy. Is it Kathy?
It's Kathy.
Kathy.
Yeah, I know it's hard to see.
It's so hard to see.
People make fun of me because I feel like I'm getting old, but it's actually it's difficult.
I have to use cheaters now.
Oh yeah,
and it's so bad.
Well, I end up taking my glasses. I have bifocal glasses, but I also have non-bifocals, and I still have to raise them up to read anything close, and then I forget, and sometimes they're all crooked on my head.
And I'm doing this all the time now. I can't.
I know that you get a headache.
Yeah, the struggle is real, y'all.
We complain a lot.
No, I mean, these are real life issues.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Everyone can relate
Guys,
to that.
I love Brian. He's the best. I know you all do too.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I just wanted to tell you that you are loved.
Best $20 I spent is make sure she came by here.
Yeah.
To say that today.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Coolio.
I just wanted to say hello.
Glasses are a blessing and a pain, Miss Turtle says.
Yes, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. They are.
Are you
put my makeup on?
All right. Well, you look lovely without makeup.
Please.
You do.
I hate wearing makeup.
Me too.
Do you wear makeup for?
I'm pretty Obvious,
Yeah.
right? I think it's obvious.
No.
Oh.
Do you have it on now?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I have to.
I
to cover it on the
often
mic
when
or
I do my OTT stuff, I'm usually most of the time not wearing makeup because I don't put my makeup on till later. But makeup has now become one of the things that I dread doing, and it's the first thing I want to wipe off when I get home.
Me too.
I hate it. I don't wear it on my days
Yeah.
off.
It's that whole clammy,
gross feeling. Yeah.
But my favorite story, though, I know everyone's like, we're on a tangent, but my favorite story is Dawn G. The one time she put on half her face. And then the news started, and then she couldn't finish the other half of the face until like 2 commercial breaks later.
Was she doing this? Which side was that?
I don't know how she was. I can't remember how she was handling it, but I remember the moment, and I remember laughing so hard because she was panicking, trying to figure out how to finish the rest of her face.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why it's worth watching every newscast because you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know, especially with this one. A lot of our poor producer Nathan at 3:00. He has no idea what we're ever going to do. He just lets us do a free reign.
Yeah.
And it can spiral out of control quickly.
Off the rails.
Unhinged. But I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fun. Blue says, I love tangents. They love mini story time. I'm actually doing, I'm working actually next Friday night at night. So I will be here in the evening. I'm going to be doing a special blog.
Okay.
But it's going to be Brian After Dark.
What time is this? Brian After Dark. I feel like is this like evening. Is this like 18 and over? What is this?
Wait a minute. You immediately go to the Bravo network on things here. That's just, but let me. It's just going to be a chance to do. I do stories. I tell stories. People can ask any question.
I want to come.
Probably you'll be at home.
Okay.
It's a Friday night. You'll be at home. You don't want to be here.
All right.
But yeah, it'll be time for me to tell stories and answer most questions within reason. And I do have a limit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are folks saying? Miss Story Time. Love tangents.
I love tangents.
That's my life. My life is a tangent.
Yeah.
How about you on your...
You don't need makeup.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, that's Tawana saying
Tawana's in here. Yeah. She's like, thank you so much for watching. Oh, it's just Tawana. No, it's just Tawana. It's just Tawana.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Carrie, I've been asking questions all the time. Hey, you keep that list.
Yeah.
Carrie.
All right.
But
I should let you work. Sorry, interrupted.
You're fine.
I just wanted to
I love when you come by anytime, Myra.
Love you.
I love you too, dear.
I'll see you at 3.
I'll see you in a few hours.
Okay.
All right. Again, you never know who's going to stop by. I love when she does, though. And thanks, Tawana, for chiming in as well. All right. So the true battle that I was referring to, not the one between me and Myra, but the one about next week is going to be when does this dome of heat move out of the way? There are signs it may hold on a little bit longer than what is expected, and that could hold on to the heat a little longer. And the longer that heat holds out, I'll be honest with you, that means when the front does move through here, it will not have a whole lot to work with. And we don't want that in a sense that we need rain, right? It needs to get here a little faster. And if it gets here a little faster, we can get some rain out of this. But if it takes too long, I'm afraid that we're going to really start to cut down on the rain totals out of this. And it's going to mess with the timing too of when does the rain zone move in and when does it move out. So let me explain. Here we go with Sunday. The heat is in place. Now, Monday is a little interesting. If you're, by the way, look at the lack of cape there on Sunday, just telling you how much sinking air there will be on Sunday with that dome of heat. Ooh. I mean, it's not going to be like 95 to 100. All right. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic. It'll be like 89 to 90. But with the sun ablazing, you're going to feel it. That's what I'm saying. Good risk there to get a sunburn. So wear the sunscreen on Sunday. All right. Monday, we're on the edge there. But if you're west of Louisville, some of these storms are going to have outflows to them. They're going to try to throw rain at us. They're going to try. But just like we have tomorrow with the rain that shrinks, it arrives. Same thing's going to happen to these. So they'll have a tough time getting east. But if you're between Louisville and Evansville, you have a better opportunity than Louisville to Cincinnati or Louisville to Lexington. So I think we'll be divided on that area for the early part of next week. We'll see how long this holds. Again, the 90s could try to hold on a bit longer. Eventually, the front does sluggishly make it through here. The problem here is the parent low attached to this is going to be way up here into Canada. So when you don't have anything to push the front through, the high is the stronger feature on the map then. So without a strong push from the west, the front's like just tiptoeing into the Ohio Valley. It's not running in here. Now, that, of course, that cuts down on organized severe weather, so there's a plus there, I guess. But it does allow for a very slow-moving setup here. And here we are Wednesday, scattered showers and storms. It looks like it's going to rain a lot and all the time. It won't. It'll be very off and on and blotchy. There'll be plenty of dry time mixed into this scenario. Once we get into the very end of the weekend and get into the Memorial Day weekend, the issue here will be a decent area of high pressure up right in through here. When does that drop down? And can it drop down this far south into Kentucky, especially? If it cannot, then we will not see a whole lot of change. We're going to hold on to a mostly cloudy sky, chance of rain, showers potentially. That will carry into the weekend. If it can dive all the way south, it will calm the air down. It'll clear the sky out. And I tell you what, it would really allow for some cool air with temperatures back into the 70s. Some data indicates 60s for highs with some sunshine. So not exactly what you would expect for the unofficial start of the summer with pools trying to open up next weekend. Not exactly pool weather, but it would be pretty if that high drops down. And I have seen the data in the last 24 hours kind of fluctuate a little bit on that. And it makes me nervous with this high being here. I don't know. This has got to be this has to be a stronger high than this one. That's the only way this is going to happen. And right now, that's what the data is indicating that it would be, and it can overpower it and push down to the south. It wouldn't stay long, only like 2 or 3 days. But if it's over the holiday weekend, that's all that counts. Because once it moves east, we're going to get back into the humid area and back to some showers and storms. You can even see it carved out. Look at that, how dramatic that is on the pocket of that high pressure diving in. But it's key. Some do not have it here, have it more like this. It's a big difference, which means all the rain you see there will be a little closer to Louisville, all the way into Memorial Day. Yeah, I know. Here's the SB or the CSU. Severe risk over the next few days. Pretty self-explanatory with the front draped by the area on Saturday. We lose it, of course, on Sunday with the high, the Bermuda high, so that makes sense with the heat. Then you start to see the influence of the front slowly working its way in. But look how the severe weather potential just kind of dissolves, just absolutely falls apart. And it's mainly because of the wind. You just don't have the wind energy. You don't have the tailpipe at all when you look at the atmosphere. I mean, this is a very weak profile on wind. You get some pockets where it can count to get pulse severe for sure. That's fair, but boy, this is not a highly sheared environment. All right, so how does the 10-day look? Having said all of that rambling, well, here's how we stand. We'll go with near 70 today, and then tomorrow it's just the midday showers, late morning, midday. That's the only rain chance for the day that we'll watch. But again, Saturday morning, we'll need to monitor the storm chance, and then we'll see how Saturday afternoon plays out. That 82 could be an 88 in some areas. It could be a 78 in others. It just depends on clouds and sun. But the wiggle room is about 10 degrees of movement you can have on Saturday. So again, we don't like to say bust potential, but there is on the highs. And then we get into the heat, and I did warm us a little more on Tuesday just to account for the trend on the holding on to Bermuda high just a smidge longer. And then we'll see how the rain chances play out as we approach the holiday weekend and slowly ease the numbers down. I didn't go as cool as what some of the data is indicating, but I think it's kind of a good middle ground. Okay. Any questions I can get to now on this? And I'm sorry, I'm going to be really behind on the chat here. I need a little rain, Kay says, from our garden. Yeah, I know. The water, I'm like dreading the water bill, right? Because everyone got, if you're like me, I went in and took the risk and got a lot of my stuff in the ground early. So the watering season has been a little early this year. So, and when you have a pond, it doesn't, that doesn't help. Let's see. Hey, Sandra, why has it been so breezy a lot this year? Mainly because the amount of cold fronts we've had dropping in. These wind shifts of south to northwest, it kicks up the wind every time. And then when you go partly cloudy, it makes it even more dramatic with dry air. that you have this season. So with the dry air in play, several cold fronts, it's just a breezy setup. And last night, you can really feel that rush and behind that low when it moved in. So that was pretty dramatic when they came through here. Let's see. Hey, Crispy, anything that could change that would bring the U.S. Into a big, bring us, sorry. I'm so used to seeing capital U.S. as U.S. Into severe risk. No, not really, to be honest, Crispy. The track of all the lows is way north. That Bermuda high is the leader on that. And then another very dry high dropping from Canada. Yeah, we're not in the zone to get a lot of wind belts over us that overlap humid air. It's either one or the other that happens. So, and in this case, it's not just an alignment to get to the big severe risk. So you're going to get a lot of pulse severe. I mean, you can get a severe thunderstorm warning on Saturday. You can get one Tuesday and Wednesday, even Thursday. You can get a severe thunderstorm warning all those days. It'll be very random, but are you going to get a squall line of severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings all over the place? No. The environment's not primed for that. The only way, and this is not to start anything that I'm going to regret later saying, but the only way you can typically get any type of tornado warning in this environment is when you have an outflow boundary that collides with another outflow that's going in a little more of a perpendicular pattern to it. There's a bit of a twist that can briefly happen. And we saw this in northern LaRue County about a week and a half ago. That was the reason they had their brief EF0 that was very, very brief, was just that brief moment that those two boundaries collided. Otherwise, there was really not much to work with in the atmosphere for that to be a tornado environment. So that's the only way you can get an isolated rogue tornado warning. They're usually very, very weak because you don't have everything lined up on the ingredient side, but you can get one. So I don't want to say you can't, but it's a very specific setup that has to happen for that. And that doesn't just happen all the time. Hey, Derek, let's see. Does El Nino normally bring moisture back into play for us? It can. Usually it's a little more focused in the southern United States. So we'll see, because right now, obviously, they're in a drought. But it tends to bring in more moisture as we evolve into the summer season. But sometimes it can be just south of us, which is where our worry would be on a drought coming into more of a play later in the summer if we just miss the mark. It would be the inverse of what you see now of the Midwest versus the Deep South. But that's typical. There are no two El Ninos alike, which we'll discuss in the summer outlook, but there are no two that are alike. It may seem that way in the discussion about them every year, but they're personalities to them, if you will. So that makes this one a bit of a challenge too. Hey, Nikki, how's the UV projected? It's up there. It's about a 9 or a 10, and it certainly will be by the time we get into Sunday and Monday. So again, wear that sunscreen. Working out in the garden, outside, it will only take just a few minutes. You'll get a sunburn, and you probably may not have noticed it as much so far this season, but you will with this pattern ahead. Okay. All right, guys, I got to run. Myra threw all my timing off, so I got to run. I'm just teasing. So I need to get out here, but I'll have more on midday coming up, and obviously we'll touch base on this coming up again tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you all, and I will see you guys coming up on the flip side.